My mother-in-law insulted me, then acted like nothing happened.
Wait, what happened?
I, 23 female, have been with my fiance, 27 male, for a year and a half, and we've been engaged for 6 months. We're happy, deeply in love, and honestly, we get along amazingly. But like in every fairy tale, there has to be a villain, right? Yeah, you guessed it, that's right, it's his mom. We used to visit his parents, they live 2 hours away, about once a month. And things were okay at first. By the way, this comes from Shadowhunter3000, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
And I'm Keon, wearing glasses and a hat because I have allergies.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we'd do, so let us know what you would do in the comments. During our first visit, which was Christmas at their house, his mom called me by his ex's name 3 times. They had broken up 2 years before after she cheated on him twice. It was awkward, but I let it slide since she seemed nice otherwise. I made genuine efforts to build a relationship with her. I cooked for her, shared recipes, baked her a birthday cake, and bought her gifts. Everything changed when we told his family we planned to move to the Netherlands. He worked in IT and has a stable, well-paid job, while I've been grinding through unstable jobs since uni. We invited them to spend Christmas with us and had a nice time until we brought up the move. I let my fiance do most of the talking to avoid looking like the girl taking their son away. A week later, she video called him knowing I could hear and went off. Accused me of convincing him to move. Said I'm a princess who doesn't go to work unless it's a job in my field. I have never had a job in a foreign languages, but I've still been working for 4 years now. Said I'd leave him for someone younger, we're 23 and 27. Criticized him for not having a house or kid yet, even though she borrowed a large sum of money from him and also doesn't have a house of her own. And then ended the call by calling me
Not a good thing.
not a good thing for
anybody.
Yeah. We were both in shock. He immediately hung up and apologized to me. He didn't speak to her for 3 months. She refused to apologize and instead sent guilt-tripping texts like, "Does it feel good to be upset with me?" My fiance stood firm. No apology, no contact. Eventually, she started acting like nothing happened. When he visited home again, she was all friendly and chatty, like everything was fine. And now they're back to texting and calling regularly. Meanwhile, she never apologized. Not to him, not to me. And I can't stop thinking about it. We're getting married in September, a small ceremony with just close family, and the thought of her being there, smiling like nothing happened, makes me sick. I love my fiance with all my heart, but this is eating at me. I'm resentful she gets to just exist in our lives without consequences. I feel resentful towards my partner and also his sister and his father. I feel like my feelings were completely brushed aside and I don't know how to move past this. Has anyone else dealt with something like this? How do you handle a mother-in-law who disrespects you, never apologizes, and acts like nothing happened? Update: mother-in-law drama. Partner finally set a boundary, but I'm left feeling empty? First of all, I just want to thank you all for the support, the advice, and most importantly, for sharing your experiences. You have no idea how therapeutic it was to read your comments. I live in a very traditional country, Romania, where family is often valued above everything, sometimes in a toxic way. Everyone around me kept saying all mother-in-laws act like that, and that I should just accept her as she is because she's the mother of my partner.
No, that's not cool.
Yeah.
Maybe that's a cultural thing, but even then, when you know you've been disrespected, I'm standing on business. I'm sorry. Yeah. I'm standing on business.
Like OP said, though, that's how it is there.
Which is crazy. Like we said, it's very common. It's very common. But
we still stand there. You did nothing wrong in wanting an apology.
Yeah, no, 100%.
My own father even told me to stop being whiny and just stop nudging the poor boy. So seeing your comments made me feel so heard and validated. It truly meant the world. To clarify, my partner and I actually have a very healthy relationship. We communicate really well, and we've talked about this mother-in-law situation over and over. He was angry at his mom at first, but they still resumed talking even though he could see I was upset. And to be fair, part of this is on me. I never clearly told him I don't want her at our wedding. In our culture, asking your partner to cut off their parents is seen as extremely toxic and unforgivable. So instead, I just kept venting about how upset I was about her presence, especially after everything she said and did. Now, here's the update. After I showed him your responses, he agreed. No apology equals no wedding invitation. But here's the thing that won't leave me alone. Why did it take a bunch of strangers on Reddit for him to finally see my side? Why wasn't my hurt enough? If I hadn't made this post, would things still be the same? Would he still be texting her like nothing happened? Everyone keeps telling me, you got what you wanted, be happy. But it doesn't feel like a win. Also, he texted her. I guess I just don't deserve a phone call. He politely told her that if she doesn't apologize, she can't come to the wedding. She replied asking him to call her. And of course, he did. Her reaction? She said she has the right to be upset and that she did nothing wrong. She called me an or again because apparently the times when he used to be on video call with them, I wasn't coming to the camera to say hi. Like, what? This whole thing is starting to feel like a bad joke. So yeah, she said she's not coming to the wedding because she'll never apologize. I did nothing wrong. The end. More tea? Recently, I told my partner I've started feeling resentful towards his dad, too. He's always passive, goes along with everything his wife says. My fiance always claimed his dad is neutral and even likes me. He's always been polite and chatty when we visited. But guess what? His sister went home for Easter, and their dad told her that his son has so many more qualities than me, and he doesn't understand why he's with me. He also said he's sure my partner doesn't want kids because I smoke, and his poor son is afraid our children will be not a very nice thing to say about a child or anybody.
Anybody,
slur.
Wow.
Because of it. First off, I would never smoke during pregnancy. And I even quit for months before, so I know I can do it again. Second, his son never wanted kids. He told them that even before we met. Neither of us wants children. That's one of the things that makes us a perfect match. But I've kept up a traditional appearance around them because, well, you know how these families are. So yeah, apparently I'm the downfall of their precious boy. And then it gets worse. 2 weeks ago, my partner's mom asked her daughter if
Why you shouldn't be calling someone this name.
Is with you. When my partner and his sister were going out to lunch. Just the two of them, something I totally support. I think sibling time is important, even if we usually hang out together. Then mother-in-law tried to manipulate her into thinking that I hate her, the sister, and I'm avoiding her. I've always made an effort with his sister, so that one really hurt. Now here's the real 2 days before I posted this, I asked my partner directly if his mom had done or said anything stupid recently. He said no, but he knew about his comment to his sister, but just didn't tell me because he didn't want to upset me. Guess how I feel now? Even more upset and betrayed. Like, I trusted him to be honest with me, especially after everything. This makes me feel like I can't trust him fully anymore, and that's terrifying. He is perfect in every other way, truly. But when it comes to this situation and his family, I don't know. I feel like I'm going crazy. The thing is, before yesterday, the situation seemed like his mom had a rage episode. Like, she could have turned this around somehow. At least at the surface. But now that I found out from his sister all the crappy things they said about me, it feels like a never healing wound. There were more things said, but I really tried to keep it short. His mom also mentioned that I spend my partner's money. Yes, he earns a lot more than me. He works in IT. But since I was 18, I moved to a different city, got into college, got a job, and haven't stopped working since. By the way, you never have to stop listening to full episodes with stories just like this. Go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime.
I don't know, OP. All I've heard is his family sucks, one, other than his sister.
Yeah.
But all I'm hearing is you tell your fiance, not even that. It's like you've told your fiance a couple things, but the fact that your fiance is so negligent and just over his head of mom's calling you bad names. They keep trash talking you specifically, and he doesn't stop them.
Yeah.
He's not stopping them.
Yeah.
He's just like, okay.
It should never have gotten past the first time of her calling you that, to the point where it sounds like that's the name that she refers to you as.
That's
over your
crazy.
actual name, or just like fiance or like anything else. Like, that sounds like it's a casual thing that she calls
She's
you
like,
on the daily.
And
he's
cool with
not
it.
correcting it.
He's not stopping
as far
it.
as we know.
He's not stopping it. He's just like, oh yeah.
Yeah.
She's great. She's doing great.
Yes, my first job was in a bedding shop because it was the only job I found which allowed me to also go to school thanks to the flexible hours. Then I only had office jobs. They didn't get me rich, but they paid my bills. And this woman, who only has 12 classes, no final exams or anything, and only worked in warehouses, told me that I should just accept working as a dishwasher in the Netherlands since I am so unqualified. Like, why are you so mean all of a sudden? And now I'm overthinking. Am I being ungrateful for having found someone so great in general? For having a peaceful, loving relationship in all other areas? Should I just let it go since everything else is going so well? I don't know. I just needed to get all of this out. I hope it makes sense and I don't sound like some lovesick 15-year-old. That's the end of that story. My mother-in-law excluded my daughter, then had the nerve to play the victim.
Oh no, she activated her victim trap card.
It has been 16 months since we have spoken to my mother-in-law, and while my husband stands by it, I can't help feeling like he would be happier with her in his life. He says that he can deal with her treating him this way, but when it comes to our own children, it is a non-negotiable. Should I encourage him to mend the relationship, aka let things go without an apology, or should I just let things be? By the way, this comes from World's Worst Daughter-in-Law, and if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Carly.
And I'm Keon with allergies.
And we're here to give good advice goofily, but we don't have all the answers. We only know what we do. So let us know what you would do in the comments. Last April, 2024, we had invited our mother-in-law on a trip to the beach with our family. We did not ask her to pay anything, only any extras, her own food, etc. We stayed in a very nice beachfront house, and she had her own room there. Overall, it was a great trip, and we were in a good place, even though in the past we have gone through some rough patches. Before and after the trip, we spent numerous Sundays at her house for dinner. About 3 Sunday dinners in a row, she continually kept bringing up our niece's birthday sleepover. She's around the same age as my daughter, 1 year apart, and she was talking about how fun the sleepover was going to be, planning all of the activities with the girls, etc. We have 4 children, and my husband's sister has 5, 2 stepchildren and 3 of her own. His sister's bio children have always been the favorite grandchildren of my mother-in-law, because she states that they need her more as they do not have fathers in their life, even though they have stepfather. So she has always spent more money on them, paid for their extracurriculars, and buys them basically whatever they want. We notice, as do our children, but we let it go usually. 3 weeks of talking up my niece's birthday party go by, and the weekend of the birthday comes. This was also the week of our daughter's drama play and the weekend of our daughter's dance recital. Mother-in-law promised she would be there for both and put it in her calendar numerous months ahead. The night of our daughter's drama play was also the night of niece's actual birthday. I mentioned this numerous times, but mother-in-law insisted she would still be there. She did not attend, which I expected, because she went to the dinner and had cake with niece. Saturday morning rolls around, and it is the day of my daughter's recital. She calls mother-in-law to ask her if today is the day of niece's party, because she had all of a sudden stopped mentioning it. Mother-in-law states that niece decided she is no longer having a birthday party, and that she is just going to go on a shopping spree instead. She also states that she will not be coming to the recital as she decided to pick up a shift at work. My daughter is disappointed, but says okay, and gets ready for her recital. After recital, I decide to bring my kids all to our local trampoline park. They have passes there and wanted to go to Glow. We were there about 20 minutes, and then to our surprise, who shows up? Mother-in-law, sister-in-law, and numerous girls that niece had invited to her birthday sleepover. I asked one of my friends if sister-in-law had posted anything about a birthday sleepover, and lo and behold, she did. Decorations, a themed cake, etc., all set up for her sleepover, and there she was with all of the guests she invited. My daughter was immediately hurt and upset by this.
I'm immediately hurt and upset about this.
I'm crushed for your daughter, and walked past mother-in-law without speaking to her. Mother-in-law has the nerve to walk up to me and mention that my daughter walked past her without even saying hello.
Hello? Hey. Mother-in-law, hello?
You remember when you had the nerve to lie to her on the phone about having a party and missing her recital this morning? Yeah, I think she can walk right past you if she wants to. I said yes. That's because you told her this morning that niece was no longer having a party, and she clearly is. She acts as though she has no clue what I'm talking about, even after I show her the post sister-in-law had put up with all of her decorations, etc. That mother-in-law, I am sure, paid for, as she always does. She just walks away and does not say another word. Months go by without hearing a single word from her. So finally, my husband and I reach out and explain that she really hurt my daughter's feelings and that we feel she deserves an apology for lying blatantly to her and then showing up with a party of girls to rub it in her face. She refuses and says she did nothing wrong and that she had no clue about the party, even though she was with them. We tell her that unless she can apologize for hurting my daughter's feelings, we don't have anything left to discuss. We attempt one more time to reach out and say the same thing numerous months later, and the story remains the same. She did nothing wrong, and she will not apologize to our daughter for hurting her feelings. Our daughter was 9 at the time. My husband says that she has done similar things to him his entire life. When his parents split, he lived with his dad and grandma, and other siblings lived with mom. One example that he brings up many times is on one occasion, mother-in-law, his brother, sister, and stepfather all showed up to his grandmother's house in a helicopter ride to see him, but did not invite him on the ride. Just one of many examples. He says that he is just used to it. But now that it's his child, he says she deserves an apology, even if not to admit her wrongdoings, but to acknowledge that she hurt our daughter's feeling. The only catch is that I can tell it really upsets him that his relationship with his mother and sister are basically non-existent at this time. Should I encourage him to let it go? Or should I keep these boundaries remaining until she can apologize to our daughter? Edit to add, we still remain speaking to his stepfather, as he is not in good health and truly did not know anything of this event. He has briefly moved out from mother-in-law's house, but is now moved back in, and I know that it guilts my husband tremendously that we do not see him very often, and he does not have a lot of time left. He cannot drive, and we are very busy with the 4 children, so it's hard to swing by and pick him up for things versus when we used to spend time over there for Sunday dinners or different things. We have an update. Wow, I didn't expect anyone to reply, let alone almost 30 people in an hour. I'm not sure why people are asking me if I am mentally okay. I tend to let my emotions get the best of me sometimes, and while I thought this incident was a big deal, and so did my husband, we are very overprotective of our kids, and I wasn't sure if other people would agree or think we were being petty over something small or silly. People who are saying he isn't sad that his mother isn't in his life are wrong. He is. You're allowed to miss someone that you know may not be the best person, though I do applaud him for breaking the cycle, as they say. Update 2. I hear you all. You're disgusted that I would even consider such a thing. How dare I? Maybe it would make you more understanding of my feelings to know that I had a very similar relationship with my own grandparents and cousins. The favoritism followed us to adulthood, and it's very evident who they favored. And now they favor their children over mine and my sisters as well. While we have grown apart over the years, I still wouldn't trade the memories I have with my grandparents or my cousins. I will say they never did anything so boldly mean to me or my sister, that I knew of anyway. So I cannot fully compare situations. The favoritism was pretty obvious though. But the truth is, we have not had a relationship with sister-in-law for many years now. And mother-in-law was my kids' connection to their cousins. She was the source of a holiday dinner for every holiday with the cousins. She was very crafty and really fun sometimes. So yes, there are times I do wonder if it is more upsetting to lose those relationships entirely than to bury the hatchet on this incident to try and move forward. I wonder, is there any way that you could surpass mother-in-law, start reaching out to those cousins on your own? Is she truly controlling all those relationships? Is there
funnel,
any way to be hey, I'm just gonna go around mother-in-law, I'll text this cousin directly.
Yeah,
you want to hang out with my kids at the park? Let's go.
That should be. I don't know why does mother-in-law need why does everyone need
so controlling?
Yeah, but that's so crazy.
Yeah.
Is she how much is she the one who has all the money or something like that? I don't know. The fact that people are afraid.
Sounds like a lot of her kids were just kind of raised in that
I mean, yeah, that's one case, but it's come on, we're adults here. We don't need approval, or we need to go through this one person to do things.
Yeah. So if you can go around and just hit up the cousins directly somehow, maybe? Is it harder to not have an entire set of grandparents and cousins at all? Or to have them and know you are not their favorite? Maybe I am overthinking things, but that is what I do. One thing is clear, and the more I hear everyone say it, the louder it rings true in my head. If she wanted to, she would. By the way, I want you to go listen to full episodes with stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, iHeartRadio, search up OK Storytime. My husband says that the most hurtful thing out of all is that him and our daughter, as well as our other kids, were that unimportant to her to keep in her life that she could not do one thing, and that is to simply apologize. So I'm going to accept that maybe I can't fix him being sad, and that it isn't my problem to fix. All I can do is be there to support him. But just to be clear, I was never going to force my husband to make amends that he did not want to make. And nor would I our children if they did not want the relationship either. I simply was considering if I should give my blessing if he chose to open that door himself. That's the end of that story.
My mother-in-law insulted my cooking after I made it specifically for her.
Ooh, no more cooking for her.
My mother-in-law moved in with us 3 months ago. Temporary but long-term situation. I've been struggling to adjust to her intrusive and at times overbearing presence, but overall she does love me and has good intentions. She does her best to be kind, I think. I believe the intrusive behaviors come from cultural differences, but it can be very suffocating and offensive sometimes. By the way, this comes from Banana Bread 5241. And if you want to submit your own stories, go to the r/OKStorytime subreddit. I'm Sophia.
I'm Keon, and we both have allergies.
And we both have allergies. But we're here to give good advice goofily anyway. But we don't have all the answers. We only have allergies. So let us know what you would do in the comments. She's decided to go vegan for Lent. I wanted to do something nice for her, so I decided to go the Impossible brand vegan ground beef and make a dish out of it. It took me almost 2 hours in the morning to prep, and then another 3 in the evening to actually cook. Food finally is ready to eat, and she's being very nice at first. I say to my husband and her how crazy it is that Impossible brand tastes so much like real meat. And we're talking about how they do it and how impressed I am by how it can taste and have the texture exactly like real ground beef. She was really excited that this is even an option during her vegan period. Fast forward, as I'm putting the leftovers away, she comes up to me and starts critiquing the food. It's good, but I think you need to add these spices to make it taste more like meat, and then it would be better. It doesn't taste like meat. She proceeds to repeat her critiques a couple of times over the course of the evening, always in a moment where my husband is just out of earshot so he can't hear her. Not sure if that's on purpose or not, but yeah, I know it seems small, and overall she was grateful for the meal, but for me this was just the straw that broke the camel's back. It's always little comments like this throughout the day, always her trying to teach me how to do everything as if I'm not a fully grown woman and she simply knows all, which is ironic because most days she's always doing at least one thing that makes me wonder if she's a little slow. Always breaking things, never listens to house rules, etc. I didn't even have to cook for her. I did so out of kindness. And then after hours of effort, she decides she'd like to teach me how to cook. Cooking is my happy place and my hobby. Perhaps I'm being too sensitive here, but it's the one thing I know I'm an expert at. I've been told as much, and I find it ridiculously insulting. I'd never want someone to lie if they don't like my food, but if you don't like it, just don't eat it and move on. It's rude to offer opinions on advice unsolicited, especially when literally one day ago she didn't even know vegan meat existed. Like at all. She immigrated here recently from a country that doesn't have that sort of thing, apparently. And suddenly she's an expert on how to use it in cooking? Am I overreacting or reading too deep into it?
I don't know. I just love it how she's like, this meat could taste like meat if
could
you made
taste
it.
meatier.
You know what it needs? Meat.
I think it just needs meat, girl. Sorry, guys. Been bottling up my frustrations and just needed to vent. I know it's a minor thing. This morning, she brought out her little cookbook to make a cake and said, I really wish this book was in English because that would be helpful for you. Somebody please take me off a ledge. I ignored her comment entirely, but I'm really close to being a witch at this point. My husband is gone at work right now. Go figure. I will say that one, I feel like it depends on how she said it.
I feel like
because that could just be like, hey, like I want
a cake. Yeah.
I wish that because I want to make this cake, but it's not in English. So if you ever wanted to make a cake from this cookbook, you couldn't. I feel like that.
If someone's sharing recipes, I get how she delivered it.
Yes.
But if someone's sharing recipes, I think especially for like people who love to cook, I feel like that's like one of the most like.
I love sharing recipes with people.
It's like one of the most grateful things you can do among people.
But there is an update. Well, you were all right. She's not well-intentioned and innocent after all. Her and her 2 daughters are both toxic as heck, and her true colors finally showed. He comes from a Middle Eastern household and they're Christian. She tried to cite the 10 Commandments as her reasoning. I went to Catholic school for 18 years growing up, and I'm very aware of the fact that the Bible states that nobody except God himself comes before your wife, but I digress. Oh, she also stated that she's not living with us. Then my husband will be paying for her to have a place to stay and have his own bank account just for her expenses, and that this was also end of story. Mother-in-law and sister-in-law's justification for this is because she paid for his medical school, and you guys wouldn't be here without mother-in-law's financial support.
Oh my, I love you wouldn't be here if I didn't, have you kind of thing. You're like,
okay,
huh?
Thanks. This is simply untrue for 2 reasons. I have never, ever accepted any sort of financial assistance from her myself, and my husband never asked her for help. She gave it to him willingly because that's what parents do. It wasn't money she earned, it was money father-in-law had set aside for him many years ago for his education. And if they hadn't done that, my husband was fully prepared to pull out student loans. Me and my side of the family have collectively paid more than half of our rent and bills for the past 5 years. I honestly am too tired to explain how we got here in this big argument. Maybe I'll make another post later. I'll probably post later today about how absolutely insane his family has been towards me and us for the past 2 days. For the record, my husband does not agree that mother comes before wife. He does believe it is his duty to take care of her if she cannot care for herself, which I've never been against because we both love her, and I want the same for my mom too, as long as it isn't impacting our finances or marriage. Currently, mother-in-law is impacting both. Anyways, my husband is finally aware of how she treats me because I recorded the conversation. Thanks for the advice, Reddit. He's working 100-hour weeks right now with 0 days off for the next few weeks, so he hasn't had time or energy to address it, but he has assured me that he is going to once he can. That might be a while, it would seem. Until then, all I have is the ability to vent about it on Reddit. Love that for me. Am I the a-hole for not thinking that the cultural standards he was raised in applied to us and our marriage? Because I am 50% of this household, in my eyes, when we got married. We left our old lives behind and started a new family with our own family culture that can be whatever we want it to be. And there is a third update. It was a group call between me, husband, mother-in-law, and the 2 sister-in-laws. A lot happened, but at one point they were all ganging up on your husband.
Oh, I was going to say.
Yeah, they're probably bullying him to do this.
It's going to be the thing of like everyone's like, this is someone disagrees and like it starts getting to like a huge ruckus and they're diverting the anger to somebody in the group. I was going to say either husband or OP.
Yeah. About how he never emotionally validates them when they're upset. Sister-in-law made a comment saying, when we visited for Christmas, I saw you comforting and validating OP, and it made me jealous. She continued on about how he hasn't been a good brother or good son lately. Nobody else seemed to clock that comment, but I did. She said this to illustrate how she wishes he would comfort and validate her when she's upset the way he does me. But let's be for real. The real message behind all of this was really, we're jealous of your wife. The truth finally slipped up. I just looked at my husband and quietly said, and there it is. For context, my mother-in-law lives with us and his whole rest of his family. Both sister-in-laws, plus older sister-in-law's husband, stayed with us for almost 2 weeks during Christmas. He was comforting me a bunch because of the amount of stress we were both under, having to host them for Christmas at our house, because they were being difficult guests. Despite my knowing this would be a hard time for me, I welcomed them with open arms and was bending over backwards to accommodate them. So yeah, he was comforting me and validating me when I wanted hugs and kisses. I'm sorry your brother wasn't hugging you enough. What do you mean you're jealous? I honestly cannot with these guys. Anyway, how's your week going? Edit. To clarify, the sister-in-law who is married isn't the one that made this comment. It was the younger sister-in-law that said it. They are all fully grown adults, by the way. Younger sister-in-law does have a boyfriend that wasn't present over the holiday. And there is a fourth update. Never mind the fact that my own husband has directly told her that he believes God has acknowledged me as his wife and that she was out of line for even saying that at all. Never mind the fact that neither of us is nearly as religious as she is to begin with. Also, that if we had kids in her country, they'd be considered illegitimate children and would not get any inheritance if my husband passed away. My response? Well, I guess it's a good thing we don't live in that country and that husband doesn't have any assets there to inherit to begin with. Finally got her paperwork in order, and my husband has finally seen her for who she is. A disrespectful, entitled mother-in-law from heck. He's agreed that once she leaves this time, we will be informing her that she's no longer allowed to live with us any further. She will likely insist that he pays for her to live elsewhere, even though we can't afford it, and also want to save up so we can actually live our own lives. But at this point, I'd rather lose money just to get her out of my hair than have to suffer another moment longer with her in my house. My peace comes at a financial price, it seems, and frankly, I'm willing to pay it. During the fight, my mother-in-law said a few other lovely nuggets. She told my husband that he only has one mother, but he could have many different women if he wanted. She insisted that she wasn't mean, but that she could be mean if she wanted to. She even added that she could say things like, my sister-in-law is better than me, but she chooses not to. I'm sorry. She says to you, I could say that your sister-in-law is better than you.
I could say it.
But
I'm not going to.
But I won't. That's you saying it, girl. You just said it. By the way, you can say that you'll listen to full episodes of stories just like this. Just go to Spotify, Apple Podcasts, or iHeartRadio and search up OK Storytime. She accused us of installing security cameras just to spy on her all day, even though we've had them for 5 years because of our dog and she's only been living with us for 6 months. Finally, she claimed that my father-in-law's biggest regret was letting my husband come to this country, saying that I was taking him away from his family. Anyways, I'm at my wit's end. I told husband that I'm giving him until July. If I don't see a purchased plane ticket by then with a specific date in hand that says exactly when she's leaving, and if said flight is not sometime before the end of this year, then I will be moving out by the end of July. I won't divorce him, but I won't be living like this anymore, and I sure as heck won't be paying rent or utilities here if I move out. And that is the end of that story.
I don't like ultimatums.